Hello, hello, hello. I am your host OCL, and welcome back to 1 Century Later. Today we'll be taking a look at all events from May 16th to May 22nd, 1926. As with last week, all of my sources are in the description down below. Sunday, May 16th, 1926. Mehmed VI, the 36th and final Sultan of the Ottoman Empire, passed away at the age of 65 while in exile in Italy. Mehmed reigned as Sultan from 1918 until the abolition of the monarchy by the Republic of Turkey in 1922. His son Shehzad Mehmed Ertuğrul made no claim to the abolished throne. Also on this day, the Irish political party Fianna Fáil was founded in the La Scala Theatre in Dublin by Eamon de Valera after his resignation as the leader of the Sinn Féin party on March 11th. And lastly on this day, Italian-born Americans and anarchists Nicola Sacco and Bartolomeo Vanzetti were sentenced to execution by electric chair following their 1921 conviction of the April 1920 armed robbery of the Slater and Morrill Shoe Company in Massachusetts, where 2 guards were murdered, and following an extensive appeals battle. Protests and riots were formed throughout the Americas and Europe in support of Sacco's and Vanzetti's innocence. In one such riot, the U.S. Embassy to Argentina in Buenos Aires was bombed, destroying the front door, a section of the wall, and injuring 1 person. 4 Argentinians were arrested, but no evidence was found to connect them to the bombing, and they were released. Monday, May 17th, 1926. Following the resignation of German Chancellor Hans Luther and his cabinet, Justice Minister Wilhelm Marx was selected as the new Chancellor of Germany by President Paul von Hindenburg. Tuesday, May 18, 1926. Christian evangelist Aimee Semple McPherson disappeared while at a Venice beach near Los Angeles, California. After a search party failed to find any trace of her, it was believed she drowned and a memorial service was held. In reality, McPherson had been approached by strangers asking her if she could pray for their sick child. McPherson was kidnapped and held for a ransom of $500,000 in a shack in Mexico. Wednesday, May 19, 1926. The French forces in the French Mandate of Syria bombed Damascus in a renewed attempt to end the ongoing Great Syrian Revolt following their May 7th bombing of the Al-Midan neighborhood in Damascus. A combined total from both bombings placed the death toll at over 1,000 killed and many more injured. Also on this day, the National Broadcasting Company, or NBC, was founded by the Radio Corporation of America, although its first radio broadcast was not until November 15th. NBC was the first major broadcasting company in the United States. Thursday, May 20th, 1926. Following the resignation of the Belgian Prime Minister Prosper Paulet on May 8th, Henry Jasper formed a new government as the Prime Minister of Belgium, focusing on the importance of social welfare and democratic inclusivity. Also on this day, the Air Commerce Act and the Railway Labor Act were signed into law by U.S. President Calvin Coolidge. The Air Commerce Act required the registration, certification, and licensing of aircraft and pilots, created the framework for what would eventually become the Federal Aviation Administration within the U.S. Department of Commerce, and outlined the government's role in air infrastructure and air traffic control systems. The Railway Labor Act abolished the Railroad Labor Board and set rules to resolve labor disputes in the railroad industry to prevent interruptions to national commerce. The act was amended in 1936 to extend its coverage to include airlines as well. Friday, May 21st, 1926. Nothing of historical precedent happened on this day. Saturday, May 22nd, 1926. Elections were held in Egypt for all 211 seats in the Egyptian parliament. The Wafd Party received 69% of the vote, winning 171 seats and securing the majority. This was the first election with significantly relaxed requirements for voters, leading to a higher turnout with over 1.1 million votes cast in the election. And that is all. See you next week for all events from Sunday, May 23rd, 1926 to Saturday, May 29th, 1926. Thank you for watching, and see you next week.